Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 316. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
What a start. What a start. This is October, baby. I forgot what this is like, man. Oh, yeah. This is nice. It's hoodie season. It's upset season. It's go home season. I'm a big fan. How are you doing, buddy? You all right over there? You just want to drop an "I told you so" right now on everybody?
No, let's talk about this weekend.
Right.
Let's just ease right into it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, why gloat? Why gloat? Man of integrity.
Sure.
There's no
Yeah.
There's no sense in being anything but humble here, you know? I mean, I could go on and on about all of the things I've been saying since March, but why would I just jump into that right off the bat? You know? I mean, that's let's at least get people warmed up, you know? We don't need to jump into that. How do you feel about this weekend, Nate?
It's fun.
How do you feel about the wild card round as a whole?
Solid. Like this new format is sweet. And I like that it feels like baseball again. It feels like anything can happen, but also it's enough of an opportunity that the true thing should happen, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't just a one-off day for the favored team. You know what I mean? 2 out of 3, like, you have an opportunity. And that's normal. That's enough time to have to figure it out and be the team you're supposed to be. So yeah, and I think this is just true baseball, you know?
Yeah, and it's definitely closer to, like we've always talked about, it's closer to what the season represents. Like we've talked about before, while the one-game wild card was exciting, it was a winner-go-home scenario right off the jump, right off the top. It's hard to fathom playing 162 games for it to come down to one game. So while you surely can't make a wild card round best of 7, I think best of 3. And we tipped our caps last episode. Like this was a good call, and we have to give credit where credit's due. Like this, I think was a much better format for getting the postseason started.
Uncle Robbie he was due. He was due for a good idea.
Well, let's not go too far. Like I said, I'll give credit to Major League Baseball, who at times we rag on a fair amount. I'm not going to go as far as giving him credit for this idea because we don't know, and we probably never will know.
No, he has no ideas at all. He's just got a team of people that do everything for him. I think he just knows how to talk into a mic. That's it. Sometimes.
With the increase in games, though, let me ask you this, because I feel like I have my own thought on this, but I'm curious if you feel otherwise. We don't have any evidence or sample size to really go off here because this is the first time we've seen it. Mm-hmm. But what are your thoughts on the difficulty that you think it's going to require or tax these teams with of asking not just a wild card team, but a wild card team that's coming in off the road?
Yeah.
And what you're going to ask of them to do to win a World Series. And look, I get it. Like, you as the road wild card team, you've put yourself in that position, and at that point, you should just be thankful for a postseason spot.
Right.
But do you think, and time will tell this year and the seasons beyond this, but do you think it's possible for a road team with the emotional taxation that it takes when you come in and have to play in these some more hostile than others, but generally speaking, you're coming in off the road and they're asking you to win 2 games in that series and then run the table through whoever waits ahead for you beyond that point. Would you agree, or would you think it's maybe not as difficult as maybe I'm making it out to be?
Oh, I think it's insanely difficult. I think it's way difficult. And the only way it's not difficult is if the other side does the same thing. If we have 2 wild card teams in the World Series, that's where, like, all right, we're all square. Like, there's no advantage either way. But with that being said, I think what this does is it just really, really drills home that the regular season matters and winning the division matters. And that's with whatever happens in the next round. If we see a division winner go down in the next round, which we very may well see that. I mean, it's very likely that one of those teams is going to go down. That's not the argument. The argument is the team that beats them and then goes on to the CS and then the World Series. Do you have what it takes to do that? And if not, if we have a team that does not come out of the wild card that wins this World Series, you're going to say, okay, it's a massive advantage to have to win the division. The regular season now matters again. And I love that. Because a 1-game wild card winner-take-all situation is 9 innings. Like, we're good. Any team can deal with that. You know what I mean? Anybody can bounce back from that. There's only so much pitching you're really going to use. But if you end up having to go 3 games in the first round, you're working halfway through your rotation to get there, probably halfway through your bullpen. That's a lot, dude. That's a lot. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying I can't imagine a wild card team doing this year. I can't see it. It takes so much extra. And like you said, I mean, even like if you look at the Padres right now, like, 2 in New York. And I know LA is not far from home, but that's still another hostile environment, like you were saying. For the next 2, it's like that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. That's hard. But I love that it gets the focus back on the roster, and it gets the focus back on your rotation, and it gets the focus back on the regular season. So what you're watching this month is going to really set the table for what you watch in the next regular season. That's, I think, what is really exciting about this. This is going to overlap and carry over into how front offices operate next year. So this is a win across the board in my mind.
Yeah, because we're all in the same boat here. Fans, players, front offices, we can know what it's supposed to be like on paper with this new format, but until we all experience this as a sport, as an industry, nobody really knows. And like we were just talking about before we hopped on, it feels like a lifetime ago that we saw these teams that have gotten their first round bye. Yeah. It seems like a lifetime ago since we last saw them play. Mm-hmm. And obviously it hasn't been that long, but these teams that have been playing this week, think of how much energy that takes out.
Yeah.
And so moving forward, like you were saying, how it carries over into the next year, teams, I would hope, one would think, that you would do whatever it takes to avoid having to do this.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna take a lot out of you.
Right. Exactly.
A lot.
And it has to come down to not just the energy, it has to come down to your depth you have to have a deep roster. You have to have a deep roster to do this thing. And it's great. This is really good for baseball. This is really good for baseball. I'm a huge fan.
I would venture to say that you and I, speaking of being a fan, I would venture to say that you and I were also a fan of the depth that we were seeing from these starting pitchers this weekend.
Oh, dude.
Like that
Wow.
moved the needle for me. Like I felt as though I had been transported in time.
Yeah.
To even like 5 years ago. And I was just like, wow, this is what baseball is supposed to be.
Yeah, 100%.
Not even that. You got small ball playing.
Yeah.
And working, not even just in it. I mean, we may need to address some of these bunt attempts and who's really teaching these guys how to lay down bunts, if anybody. But it was almost like this format ushered in a former style of baseball that we were used to seeing. And that was really cool to see. Like the first day of the wild card games, I think I saw a stat that said that there was 4 starts across all the games, that there was 4 starts of 7+ innings, and that there were 4 all of last postseason.
Yeah.
And we see that same number in the first day.
Yeah.
I
love that. I love that.
That is awesome.
I think that had to be the game plan for anybody coming through the wild card. That has to be the game plan. Like you gotta ride your horses. Like these are the guys that gotta get us there, because I feel like September is all just like, we gotta find a way to win this ball game. Doesn't matter if I'm going to the pen in the 5th, fine. We just gotta win. We gotta get in. Then once you're in, you're like, I got to ride my horses now because I just worked my bullpen to the bone for the last month and a half. They need some time to get back on their feet. I love it. I love it. And you need guys that can do that. You need those starting guys that can do that. The first round bye, the division winners, you don't need it as much. That's another advantage. Right? You have that little bit of a safety net. You don't have to worry about going to your bullpen too early in this next series because your bullpen's been chilling. So you're right, dude. Like this is just good. It's good for baseball all the way around. And the fact that we got to watch 3 straight days of intense baseball. This is I feel like I had a week and a half worth of games that I watched in 3 days. And I'm like fired up for the rest of the postseason now. And I think even if your team isn't in it, example 1 here, you're still into this. You're still into this
Dude,
postseason.
I was glued all weekend, and we'll get into it. The only stretch of baseball that I missed this weekend was when the Blue Jays were up 8-1, and I thought, if there's one grouping of a couple innings that I can maybe step aside to have dinner with my family who's visiting as we're getting ready to move here.
It's an 8-1 lead.
I'm like, this is probably the time to do it. And then I stepped back and I said, are you serious?
Whoops.
But I mean, yeah, the type of baseball that we saw this weekend, I like you're saying, I was glued to it all weekend. And it wasn't like I go into these postseasons, whether my team's in it or not, and I go in with the goal of trying to catch every game that I can, every pitch that I can. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I can't do it, either A, because I get burnt out real quick, especially in the early going when they're just throwing game after game after game.
Yeah.
Like that's an exciting prospect to go into, being like, man, there's a lot of baseball. But I'll be honest, at a certain point throughout those first couple of days, you kind of get burnt out a little bit, or like, all right, I'm going to need to recalibrate here a little bit and really pick out these games that I want to catch. But I did not miss a game because the matchups were great.
Right.
The pitching was fantastic. The implementation of small ball,
Yeah.
it was all so good. And then not only that, just the way that some of these games ended, the way that some of these games played out. I mean, I could literally go on for days about how great this weekend was, but I mean, is it safe to say that maybe the bar was set a little too high this weekend, or do we think that these games coming up, do we think we can maybe match? Or
I think it's going to keep building, dude. I think it's
do we really think so?
Well, I mean, you just look at the next round, and you have technically three vastly, universally hated teams. People hate the Yankees, people hate the Astros, and people hate the Dodgers. And so when you have that universal hate against, with underdog scenarios, with, you know what I mean? It's like, you're going to be glued to it, and fans are going to continue to be glued to it, because why were we so attached to this Padres Mets series? It's like, because it's the Mets. And it's like, you love to see them fail. You love to see this happen. And that's why you're glued to it. It's going to be the same thing for the next round.
I mean, there's really only two teams I would argue that people don't really, not only do they not hate, but people are pretty indifferent about it. They're just like, I mean, the Guardians, okay. The Mariners, cool. Everybody else, you could make an argument that there's a strong population of people somewhere in the country that hates every one of these teams minus those two.
Yeah.
How do you hate the Mariners? How can you hate the Guardians?
No, you can't. Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, it's going against a team that you do hate. You know, people hate the Astros.
All the more reason to rally behind these guys.
Exactly. So you're like, you're supporting that underdog. So it's like, yes, the bar is set, but we're going to surpass it. I don't think it's going to be I don't think we're going to have too many letdowns.
Well, let's get into it. Let's rehash this weekend. Let's open up with the Rays and Guardians. Guardians at home. I mean, I definitely want to give credit where credit's due on the pitching side of things.
Yeah.
Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Tyler Glasnow even. Pitching was fantastic on both sides of the ball. But the offense was we're struggling a little bit. We're struggling to get things going a little bit, get the wheels off the ground. But at this point, an ugly win is better than a pretty loss. And I think that the Guardians really took hold of that and ran with it, because they got it done. And talking about taxing baseball, game 2 going 15.
Right. Like, imagine if they lost that. If the Rays managed to take that game 2, it doesn't matter like who comes out of that series. It's like you just had to go 3 long days. Long days. And even if it was a foregone conclusion that the Guardians were destined to win that series, if you lose that one and then have to play another 9 just to go on and win the division or win the series the next day. Yeah. It's like, it's great and all, but you just had to play an unnecessary 9 innings of baseball. Yeah. So, good for them. Good for Oscar Gonzalez just stepping up. Old SpongeBob over here. I mean, I loved it, man. Did you see who it was off of?
Oh, yeah. It was Corey Kluber.
How poetic.
Corey Kluber. How poetic. Did I hear some boos with his arrival and
I don't know if
departure?
it was boos or clue. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I as far as the Rays go, I mean, like they struggled to score runs all year. You know what I mean? Like, I think this was kind of just the way it was going to go for them. They're relying on pitching. They're relying on moving guys over and working, working counts and trying to get guys on base. And it's just like it never really happened.
For all intents and purposes, their pitching for the most part did its job. Like, they showed up. Yeah. But the offense, you got to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I mean, that series was good pitching, but like, kind of rough to watch.
I think you take the mojo that the Guardians have and combine it with the fact that I think if we're honest with ourselves, this was probably, at least in recent memory, one of the least inspiring Rays teams that we've seen. Like, they just didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't have that magical element that maybe we've seen. Like, you look back to 2020. Say what you will about the guy and his talents or lack thereof, but you got a guy like Brett Phillips who's just like he's that spark plug. He gives you that mojo. And like we talk about every time October comes around, it doesn't matter how good or bad your team is when you're in the postseason. If you have something, whatever that is, and we'll get into it with the Mariners. If you've got a rally shoot, something as stupid as a rally shoot, the dumbest things, some storylines are a little more impactful than others. Yeah. Some are goofy as a rally shoot. But if you have something, more times than not, it pans out for you. And I don't think the Rays really had that this year.
No, and it's just like the Rays have always been the underdog. So it's like, what happens when they play an underdog? You know what I mean? It's like, it's weird. It feels weird. And even though that game was in Cleveland, it still felt like the Guardians were the underdog. I think everyone can agree there. It didn't quite feel like the Guardians were a lock.
They're quite literally the youngest team in the postseason.
And they've been a surprise all year.
And you got the Rays with this recent postseason history that really for the course of the last decade or so.
It's just like get in and they'll figure it out. Like get in and they'll be okay. They'll do some damage. And it's just like, I don't know. I think you're right. It was uninspiring baseball. It was just not it for me. Good riddance. I don't really care. See ya. I can't stand Kevin Cash. So I'm good. I'm chilling. And I honestly, as a Yankees fan, I was like, I think I'd rather take on the Guardians, even if they are the better team. I don't want any interdivision stuff. I don't want it because the Rays know how to turn it up to that extra gear that they just only have for the Yankees. They have this extra gear of playing the Yankees. They know how to play them. And I'm kind of happy that it went that way.
But at the same time, though, while I completely agree with you, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I know that thing. It's hard to quantify. It's hard to like really pinpoint, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But at the same time, I don't know if saying that you're glad that it's the Guardians is the right move there, because the Guardians are they're on one right now, dude. And I was saying it months ago. I said it might be time to recognize what's going on in Cleveland right now, and they laid low, and they're here, and they made some noise to kick it open. And I'm not saying we'll get to predictions. I'm not saying one way or another right now.
No, I'm not saying they're going to be a breeze. They're a good ball club. I don't think it's going to be a sweep or anything like that. But I would prefer the Guardians. If I was a Yankee, I would prefer playing the Guardians. So the Rays, and it's just the Rays are just a thorn in the side. They have that, like I said, that extra gear, but there's always been that chirpiness back and forth for the last few years. It even has been between Boone and Cash. It's like back and forth there. Even when new guys are coming in and out of the clubhouse, you got guys retiring and new guys coming in. It's just like it's always built in, which makes for great postseason drama.
I get it.
I don't want none of that.
So just to reiterate, I need you to say it. Nate Reyes, a Yankee fan, would prefer to play the Cleveland Guardians, because I really want to be able to chop this up and old takes expose
because
it.
this is just set up for a loss. I can't win this. Because if the Yankees win this next series, everyone's going to be like, oh, good for you. You beat the Guardians. If they lose the next series, you're going to throw this quote back at me and be like, wouldn't you you would have had the Rays? And it's like, well, we never would have known.
No. Hear me out. I'm giving you the option right now to say that you don't really like the prospect of playing either team. But you're going out and saying I would prefer to play the Guardians.
Here's what I will say about the entire structure. The Yankees lucked out. Because if I were the Yankees, I wouldn't want to deal with the Blue Jays or the Mariners either. Of the 4 teams, Blue Jays, Mariners, Guardians, Rays, I would choose the Guardians. It's that extra juice as far as interdivision matchups. So that's the Rays, that's the Blue Jays. And the Mariners, this is like America's team. I don't need any of that coming into New York.
Sure. No, not at all.
Of the 4, I would choose Guardians. Like if I was to choose this matchup, I would choose the Guardians.
Look, go back to the preseason predictions. I was high on the Jays to start the year. But after watching the way this season panned out, not impressed.
No.
And that may contradict a take that I've had throughout the season. That's fine. But I'm just saying, leading up to October, and I'm not just saying this isn't hindsight. I quite literally picked the Mariners over the Jays. It's not like I'm walking back any take.
Mm-hmm.
I just wasn't. I don't know why you wouldn't want to play the Jays.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Again, it's just that interdivision stuff, dude. Like I don't need the narrative of Vladdy versus Cole and like just this some spark coming out of nowhere from the Blue Jays. You know what I'm saying?
Don't want that.
And George Springer is the biggest pain in the ass across anyone in the lineup that plays the Yankees. George Springer, I feel like it's impossible for him to not get on base when he plays the Yankees. So
in October too, that man is an October machine.
Yeah, and I'm not. This isn't necessarily a prediction of saying how it's going to go. But I've watched J-Ram come into Yankee Stadium and really struggle multiple times this year. When they played and he played against the Yankees, he did not hit well. Different story now, new season now. I'm not saying that's going to be the same thing. But of the 4 teams that you would have given me to choose from that the Yankees were going to match up with, I would have chosen the Guardians.
Look, it sucks that I don't have a dog in this fight, but on the plus side, it's nice because I can just let these takes eat.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about anything.
I don't need to worry about these takes getting thrown back in my face because at the end of the day, it's like it is what it is.
Yeah.
I just hope that the Guardians don't come in and put up a 3 and out on the Yankees. Would have hated to see that. Phillies and Cardinals.
Wow.
I'll be honest with you. I think of the 4, this was probably the most, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know if intriguing is the right word, but for lack of a better term, that's what we're going to go with. This series really fascinated me because I don't know if I truly, in my heart of hearts, thought that the Phillies could go in and take 2 in St. Louis.
Yeah, I think of your predictions, this was the one that I really wasn't feeling.
This was my... I'll admit.
This was your heart one. Yeah, this was your heart pick.
This was my heart one, but this was also my least confident pick.
Right,
I will be first to admit.
Yeah.
The other ones, I was like, Mets, come on. Mariners, you got to ride with America's team. Guardians, like we just talked about, I think going into that was a relatively painless pick. But this one, This was tough, and they went in and look, people. I was messaging some people after the sweep, and they said the Phillies didn't win 2 games in St. Louis. The Cardinals lost 2 games in St. Louis, and whether that's true, whether that's how you want to interpret it, I mean, you could go a lot of different ways there. The fact that they closed it out. Like, that's just the reality of it, man. Like, the Phillies, for as much as we've ragged on them for not showing up in certain spots.
Yeah.
They could have gone in, they could have reclaimed a lead, they could have done this or that, and they could have inevitably coughed it up.
Yeah.
But they closed the book. And you got to give credit where credit's due. Like they went in with the magical storylines that St. Louis had rolling into this series. The Phillies were up against it. I would say that they were up against a relatively hostile environment, but don't even get me started on the Cardinal fan base.
That's such a tough
Are you
look.
serious?
What are we doing?
Are you serious? Like, look, I'm gonna be real for a second. The whole best fans in baseball take for the St. Louis Cardinals, that's suspended.
Yeah.
You're on suspension, Cardinals fans, for calling yourselves the best fan base in baseball. You're on suspension for calling yourselves the best fans in baseball. That was pathetic. The fact that not only did they show it during the broadcast, but the guys in the booth actually commented on it.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a thing you see in passing. They're like, well, doesn't look like they've got too much faith in the team as the fans are heading for the exits.
Who had that series? Who was commentating?
That would have been, was that Cone? No, that wasn't Cone.
No, Cone had the
No,
Mets.
that
Was that
Cone?
John Chiambi? The former
he
ESPN
was Cleveland.
guy? He was Cleveland?
No, he was Cleveland.
Oh, he was with Doug Glanville. That's right. Who had that series?
Was it not A-Rod and Cone? Or
No, it was Michael
A-Rod
K.
and,
Michael K. Yeah.
Michael K. Yeah,
Yeah.
K and A-Rod.
Yeah, because Cone had the Mets, and then he was with Carl Ravitch. Yeah. Yeah, that, not a good look. Not a good look. And I think my theory, and we're never going to know if this is, a thing or not, but my theory is that, again, you talked about the narrative, like the legends possibly being done, and like, is this our last time seeing him in St. Louis? And like, you kind of have that backing of everything's been going Cardinal way this year, right? If I'm Philly side, I think you pick out some names like Bryce, like Nicky Castellanos, maybe even Hoskins, that have played the villain role pretty well throughout their career. They've been outspoken about certain things. People love to hate Bryce Harper. I think he knows that. And if I'm in Philly's camp, I'm just like, let's go ruin some dreams. Let's go be the bad guys.
1,000%.
Let's go do what no one wants us to do. And they did it. Mean Gene Segura in his first playoff appearance, getting a clutch
Giving me
knock.
the bunny hops down the first baseline.
Man.
Ooh, yes, please.
I mean, it was definitely a choke job. Let's get that clear. Let's get that straight. Because Helsley has been stupid good all year.
Oh yeah.
And that was strange. And that was, like the injury stuff. And then it was just like, yeah, this is all no bueno.
Which, side note, was it just me, or were there like more phantom ghost injuries
100%
this weekend than usual? Like what was all this about? Was this some sort of strategy implementation? Like what? And I'm not hear me out. I'm not saying that every time a guy's getting looked at or getting pulled that it wasn't legit, but I just felt like there was a lot of
there was a lot of weird stuff.
Somebody just crumbled, and now all of a sudden we're getting pulled from the game.
To be fair, I think he did get hurt within the last 2 weeks. I think he did have something going on within the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's not the best example, but over the course of the weekend.
I agree with you. I agree. It happened a lot. It happened a lot. A lot of weird mound visits. A lot of weird draw this thing out kind of injuries. It was strange, but I think it's like, if you're Helsley, it's like, didn't you feel the same way in the bullpen? Like, you're telling me that just came out of nowhere, after throwing 20, 25 pitches in the bullpen and then coming out.
Well, a guy that pumps what 101, like it's very possible that until you really let it eat.
I didn't even see what it was. What was it? Like a blister, a finger? Like I didn't even see.
It was. Yeah, I may have had it on mute, but it looked like it was something
around
with
the hand, right?
2 middle fingers, and maybe like his ring or middle finger.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the guy to say anything about that, but it's just like it's oddly suspicious for timing of it. You know what I mean? And it's not like he wasn't throwing 101, 102 to the first batters that he faced. All of a sudden it got bad when the bases were juiced and he started walking dudes in. But overall, I mean, like I didn't follow the week leading up to this. What was the deal with Wainwright? Was he there? Was he anywhere?
I wondered the same thing because they went with Quintana.
Yeah, I didn't see him once on camera. I didn't see him. I wasn't like glued to that game, to be honest with you. Of the 4 series, that was the one that I probably watched the least. But like, what's up there?
Yeah, I didn't actually look into that.
Didn't that feel weird?
It did. It did.
Yeah, I didn't understand it.
So he's quoted as saying something that said, yada, 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 said Wainwright, who spent the early stages of Game 2 on the bullpen and said he was ready to pitch in Game 3 had the series gone that far. That's odd.
Okay.
I mean, Michaelis Game 2 I get, but...
That I get.
Or just going in general, like that's easy, but why is Waino not in the mix there?
Right. Pujols in the 2-hole for both games also. Hadn't done that all year. Kind of interesting.
Say it again.
Pujols in the 2-hole. Both games. Didn't do that all year. Right? A little weird.
That was odd.
Goldie was ice cold.
Him and Arenado, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Goldie and Arenado combined 1 for 15.
Yeah, that's not... I mean, you have 2 top 3 MVP guys. They're probably going 1 and 2. Maybe 1 and 3.
Yeah. Can't have that.
No, you can't. And it's just uninspired baseball. And it's like, I was waiting for... I put it in the group chat on Chalkboard that like, I was waiting for the Yachty moment. You know what I mean? I was waiting for the clutch Yachty situation. To be fair, Pujols smoked that ball in his last debut.
Yeah.
That ball came out 130 off of his bat down the line.
I'll be honest. I love Yachty, but I just wasn't expecting that moment, maybe the same way you were. I just thought with the way Pujols has been playing the last couple months, I'm just like, it only makes sense that it's going to be him to do something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do. I think there was an expectation amongst the players, whether they want to admit it or not. And I was actually just reading a quote where I think Wainwright said he thought we were winning it. He just thought we were winning it. And I think there was that expectation among the players, amongst coaches, managers.
Yeah, it was
fans.
like almost they could just show up and take it. Like they didn't have to really earn it.
Like we got too much work in our favor right now. But
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, hey, look. I haven't said much about Harper, but he was the difference maker in the clinching game. He did what he had to do.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'll say on my guy.
Your superstars have to have their superstar moment. That's what has to happen. This is the biggest time of year. You have to have those moments. He had it. Goldie, Nolan, not the case.
Mariners, Jays.
I liked watching that series. I gotta be real.
That was good.
I liked it, man. I liked it.
That was good. I'll again, not trying to sound all hindsight here, but when I tuned in and I see Cal Raleigh hitting a 2-run home run off the jump, I said, this series is over. Like, it's over. It just is.
Dude, just like, it was hitting behind runners. It was 2-strike hitting. It was 2-out hitting. There was power. There was, like solid defense. Like the Mariners just played complete baseball. It was good. It was real good. And even at the 8-1 game 2, where it was up 8, where they were down 8-1, and I was like, even if they just ship it in the rest of the game, I still feel good about them in game 3.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, Nate, relax. You're not going to need that game 3.
We don't need the extra game.
We're going to finish this up. Also, I don't know if you caught the end of that game where it ended. And, cameras working through the stands. I thought Canadians were a little classier, personally. I thought they were the classier group. I saw a lot of middle fingers being put into the camera. I don't know if you saw that.
Really?
Middle fingers touching the camera. Getting up in the camera's face. And I was like, whoa. And then I've watched all these videos of like all the interviews post-game of fans, and they're like, I'm done with baseball. We're done here. We have nothing going on.
I did see that. I did see that. I saw like, one guy where he's like, I got to tip my cap to the 2019 Raptors. Yeah. That's the only good thing that's happened in sports in my lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah. That's tough. Toronto's, I mean, that's the Queens of Canada, some have said. It's the
Angels of the Great White North. Some have said.
Whoa, man. That just, just an ugly series. And like, I don't know. This all, again, there's some bias there because I watched the second to last series of the regular season where Vladdy had that walk-off against the Yankees, where the Yankees were 1 game away from winning the division. And he had the walk-off, and he's like, this is my house. This is my house, walking around doing that. And I'm like, oh, was that the end of the movie?
Yeah, Vladdy, let's pump the brakes here. Was this the end of your movie?
That was. I think that was the end of the movie.
Hey, I think if you ask the Mariners, that was a great movie. They thoroughly enjoy the ending. That was a fantastic movie.
Oh, man. Just there's a lot of flash around that Blue Jays team. There's a lot of confidence, and I get it.
A lot of noise.
But yeah, it's like there's a lot of pimping balls to the track. There's a lot of not hustling. There's a lot of like disciplinary or lack thereof type characters on that team. You know what I mean? Teoscar, Vladdy, they're very like.
Well, let's not knock Teoscar. Teoscar showed up.
He did.
Dude had a day.
But I've watched him do it multiple times, hitting balls off the wall, and he's walking out of the box. There's a lot of that going on. And not a whole lot of good pitching going on. And to be fair, I did call their bullpen blowing that in chalkboard. I think it was 8-4. Something like that. And I was like, the Blue Jays will blow this. Their bullpen will blow this.
And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But going back to game 1 here before we get into game 2, just a little deeper, because game 2 was just wild. Biggest takeaway for me, Luis Castillo. Seattle Mariners. This is why you got him.
This is why you got him. This is why you extended him. This is the guy.
I mean, this is textbook. Textbook. Go out, get your guy, and just watch it unfold.
Yeah. He looked disgusting, dude.
Under the brightest lights. I mean, gross. And I think I was with you. You said last episode, I want to say you had it going 3 because you had the Mariners winning, but you said, I'll give game 1 to Manoah. And I think in my head, whether or not I agreed with you right there in the spot, I was like, yeah, That probably makes sense.
Manoah's
Manoah
another
at home.
character, by the way. Another character that's very flashy, very flexing on you.
Very, very soundbite-esque, if you will, with the whole tires or pressures what you put in your tires.
Yeah.
And he was crumbling. I don't know if he's talking about seeing stuff on camera. I don't know if you saw the broadcast. He was coming unglued a little bit in the dugout.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's how he handles pressure or what he's doing with his car tires, but I don't think that's how you do it.
No. Yeah. Fastball's running in, hitting Julio twice. Yeah. I mean, the Mariners just seem like you give them an inch, they're going to take a mile kind of team. You know what I mean? Don't let them breathe at all. Don't let them breathe because they're just going to keep going. They're going to keep fighting back. And then all of a sudden they're going to dominate you.
So I've got some nuggets here from game 2 that we need to talk about this implosion. But before we do that, I'm going to need you to read me BLC off memory. See if this wild weekend of baseball has affected your ability whatsoever.
Probably. This is also a night recording, this is different from me.
Yeah, this is it's been a minute since we had the old nighttime recording.
All right, let's see if we can do this here.
I need you to look at me because
I need to look at you. You're gonna mouth it to me
because it's possible that I don't know. Sometimes when you sometimes when you close your eyes, it looks like you're peeking down. So if you're just looking here, I'll feel a little better about it.
Well, I mean, I could just do this for you. Just hold the phone up.
Whatever you want to do. You can set it down.
No trust here. Founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson, Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouches packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the number one shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum. Head to Big League Chew's social media channels, at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram. Also hit them up on TikTok to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers or purchase any of their website products from their website at bigleaguechew.com. BLC. Big League Chew. Whew. I'll never have to read that again. I'll never have to use my eyes on that little note in my notes app.
I believe you. If anybody ever asks you, like on the street, it's like, "Hey, you're that Nate Reyes guy from the 3-0 Take. You guys sponsored by Big League Chew?" I would expect that you'd just be able to spout that off.
I won't even say yes. I'll just immediately start reading that off.
Yeah, he'll say, "Oh, you're sponsored by Big League Chew," and you say, "Big League Chew? Founded by," and then just go right into it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of sponsors, we got a new one just in time for the postseason, Manscaped. Support for the 3-0 Take is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. It's fantastic. Join over that wasn't in the app. That was just me adding. It truly is fantastic. Nate, I think you can agree with me.
Yeah.
Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer just for you. Take 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code 30take. You know it well. That's our social handle at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with code 30take. That's our social handle. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
And, I mean, you were saying before, they're only 10% off online right now. So if you go to their website.
Yeah, like you go to their website, I think it says like take 10%. Why would you do that when you can take 20 and
exactly
help out the boys?
They hooked us up, man. The new lawnmower. Is that what they call it? The new lawnmower is
yeah, buddy.
Got the flashlight on there.
Dude, it's like a freaking Swiss Army knife for the family jewels.
It's impressive. It really is impressive. I don't know why. It just feels different when you're able to take it out of the box and immediately just turn it on. You don't have to plug it in. Nothing to worry about.
Well, they do say
Have
to
you-
charge it, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I don't need to. It's ready to go. Have you used the ball deodorant that they gave us?
I have not.
It's like a lotion.
I have not.
It's like a lotion deodorant.
Wow.
There's also a spray. There's a spray one in there too.
Dude, they hook it up.
Yeah.
They give us a nice fresh pair of panties.
Mm-hmm.
I would love nothing more than to buy you just a fresh set of underwear.
I opened up the box and I like held up the shirt. And Paige was like, "Ooh, that's cool. They give you a shirt." And then I flipped it around and it was like, "Your balls thank you," or something like that.
Your balls will thank you.
Yeah.
Dude.
She's like,
They
"All
get
right."
Well, it says it on both sides.
yeah.
So I'm surprised she didn't catch that.
Well,
first.
she's
But
half blind. Why do you think she's dating me?
That's
So
that's fair. So yeah, go to Manscaped, use our promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle. Take 20% off and take free worldwide shipping
yeah, get after it.
on your purchase. Run through this game 2 here real quick. Mariners Jays. Third team ever to come back from a 7-run deficit in the postseason. Jason Stark on Twitter says the Blue Jays went 18-0 this year when scoring 9+ runs. They had won their last 54 games in a row when scoring 9+ runs. But they just lost and this was immediately following the game. He said they just lost a 10-9 game that sent them home for the winter after leading by 7 in the 6th.
I feel bad for Gosman.
Yeah, that's tough.
He threw pretty well.
Down 8-1 after Paul Sewald's implosion in the 5th, the Mariners' win expectancy was 1% per Fangraphs.
All things Mariners right now.
And then we mentioned the rally shoe, which whatever. I'm not even going to attempt to dissect that, but whatever works, man. Whatever works. But the last thing for me on that whole series, the Scott Cervais Eugenio Suarez post-game speech, dude,
that was legit.
Fire me up. Fire me up, man.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Like if you haven't watched the Mariners post-game speech, like right before they pop the champagne, that's good. That it'll get you going a little bit.
They got some. I would feel super salty. I can't blame Blue Jays fans for watching the celebration where they circle up and it's the whole freaking roster.
Oh yeah,
dancing.
dude.
It takes up your entire infield and they're dancing on you. Like, that's hard. That is tough. Oh,
look, man. When for the first time in 21 years, and look, we said it, and I told Ryan, last episode, I said, Ryan, go with your heart.
Yeah.
And then I texted him after the series was over. I said, look what happens when you go with your heart.
It's true.
Not to rag on Ryan here, but that may have been the only series he got right. But that's besides the
He was going 0 for 4 until we talked him into it.
No, hold on. Let me double check here. I need to make sure. Yeah, that was the only series he got right. So Ryan, you can thank me. Yeah, that was the only series he got right. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh man, poor guy.
But look, man, postseason baseball back in Seattle. We said you can't. You said it. You said you can't come this far. You can't end the drought and not take it back to Seattle.
It had to go back to Seattle.
They said, you know what, Nate? We got you.
Yeah.
We don't need that third game. We're going to take care of it right here. We're heading back to Seattle. Happy
Had
flight.
to happen. A team that's fully bought into each other. Now, only thing I'm nervous about moving forward is that your number 2 starter, Robbie Ray, does not look like what we're used to seeing. It's the only thing that would have me feeling a little weird. But, I mean, you got Logan Gilbert behind him. So it's like, I mean, how nervous do we really have to be? You know what I
Is
mean?
George Kirby, correct me if I'm wrong here, George Kirby
He closed the game
made,
out.
no, I know, but he made starts down the stretch. No? Or were they
Yeah.
were they auditioning him for the bullpen?
I think he's the fourth rotation guy, which is the clutch man out of the bullpen.
I just didn't know if they had changed the approach with him as they got closer to October.
It could change, and I mean, obviously, there's numbers.
He could make starts.
Yeah, and there's different numbers that are going to match up with the Astros versus the Jays. But I think the team that has the better opportunity to beat the Astros is the Mariners. And I think that if this is the Mariners season, it just makes sense that you have to go through your big brother in the division. You know what I mean? If this is your year,
yeah,
you got to prove it. Because you didn't win the division. You snuck in. You snuck in with Flash. Now I need you to go really prove that you belong here. Take down the Astros, please.
Fire me up. Fire me up. And hey, if you want to go catch one of those games, you know, if you want to catch a game out in Seattle or Houston, go ahead and use SeatGeek. It's the answer to all your ticket needs. You're looking for tickets, you have plans with friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert, or even looking months ahead to net on a date to get tickets before they sell out. With SeatGeek, you can find tickets, games, concert shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks, or make it even better for you if you're a first-time user of SeatGeek. Next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout to save $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. It's all you got to do to save some of that
cold hard cash.
Enter promo code 30TAKE. That's our social handle at checkout. SeatGeek.
Mama Reyes is actually in Seattle, by the way.
I saw that. Weekend. She said
next weekend.
Is she seriously considering maybe getting a ticket? I saw she was looking
at it. Yeah, she was looking. She's not sure. Well, she was gonna ask if I could meet up there with her.
Oh, dude.
And I was like, I've already got this out of town trip planned with Paige. So I was like, and like Airbnb is already booked, and like everything's there. So I was like, I can't do it. Also, I would feel weird being in if I'm going to make the effort of going to a postseason game and it's not the Yankees, it would feel odd. It would feel real odd.
Yeah.
So it's meant to be. I don't know if she's gonna go or not. I think she's still up in the air.
I'll be excited to see if she makes it.
She's looking to use the promo code though. She's ready to fire that off. Man. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
But she can make it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we skipped over all those DMs from last week. Do we need to revisit that? You remember that? We were like, oh yeah, we got to hold off till next one.
we're kind of short on time as it is. And we actually even have we just had a last minute voicemail. I don't know how we're going to squeeze all this in.
Oh boy.
Because we still have a whole series left to talk about, and then we got to do our predictions.
All right.
Which, speaking of which, I should text Ryan right now.
Yeah. Text him now. See if we can get him. He's probably got a little drank in him at this point too. I think he's at a wedding. Makes even more sense to bet with the heart. Hopefully we don't get left on red.
You probably will. Let's see. We got 3 of the 4 series down. Which one did we leave off?
Oh, wait.
The Padres and the Mets. What a waste of my time. What an absolute waste of my time. 2 nights of my life that I'll never get back. I mean, what? 3 nights of my life I'll never get back. Why would I? I've never been so sure of something in my entire life. And I've gotten married.
Oh.
I mean, are you serious? it unfolded exactly the way that I said it was going to unfold. I said it's the end of the road. Like it's been a great run. Congrats. But you're a fraudulent organization, and the fact that you ended your season at home in a win or go home situation, and you get one hit. You get one hit. Your offense didn't show up to the point where your manager had to make himself look like an idiot and call time, go take his little stroll out to the first base umpire and say, hey, look, guy, I got to put my neck out here because my team doesn't know how to hit the broadside of a barn right now. Can you just go out and make it look like we're going to give old no Joe the what's for? And he walks out, and those umpires basically give that poor man a tongue bath, and they didn't find a thing. We've seen some quick hooks on those checks, on those substance checks. We've seen some quick hooks. And they were out there for what seemed like an hour. And Joe said, take as long as you'd like, boys. I've got nothing. And they said, play ball. And Joe gave you 7 innings of shutdown baseball. And now the New York Mets narrative is done. It's to the links for these boys. No more trumpets, no more Donnie Barrels, no more Pete Alonso squatting during the middle of an all-star weekend. It's done. It's no more, we have the best 1-2 punch in the rotation in baseball. It's done. It's shocking. The one win that you did get this weekend was with the guy that you should have started with out of the gate. Maybe going up 1-0 in a 3-game series would have helped you a little bit. Just maybe. Just maybe. But you didn't. You said, we're not going to go Jacob deGrom game 1. Who would do such a thing? We're a sensible, reasonable baseball club. We're going to take the best pitcher in baseball and save him. Heck, we might not even throw him this series. Who knows? We'll see. We'll play it by ear. And you go out and get whacked in game 1, and you said, all right, well, we were just joshing. We were just pulling everybody's leg. Of course we're going to throw Jacob deGrom this series. You go out and throw Jacob deGrom, you get the win. You push it to game 3. Joe Musgrove comes out, bends you over, and tells you where you can take your substance check. He said, you can take this substance check. He said, you can roll it up real tight. And the San Diego Padres, from sunny California, where it never drops seemingly below 80 degrees, went to New York and ended a season for the most fraudulent organization in baseball. It's done. I don't want to hear any more Mets talk. I don't want to see any practicing your World Series celebrations in spring training next year. I don't want to hear any, well, the Mets are coming off a hot season, so we're going to take the Mets for the division this year in 2023. No, it's going to be the same thing next year as it was this year, as it was the years before. The Mets are a fraudulent organization and always will be. No more.
I mean, you called it. You said it. I got tricked. I got bamboozled. I thought this year was different. I really did. I really thought it was different. And you said weeks ago, months ago, you said, I don't know how it's going to go down, but the Mets will Met. This was the most Metting thing I've ever seen.
Thank you. And
this
I will
was
say,
awful.
look, you sent me the Mets merch, and I said the only way that this is going to be the sweetest victory for me is if the Padres take it in 2, which is what I said on Thursday or Friday, whenever our last episode was. They get game 1, I said, it's right here. It's right here for the taking.
Yeah.
They couldn't get it done, and I said, I don't know how I can recover from this, because it was set up for the sweetest ending.
Yeah.
And Joe said, hey, KC.
I got you.
I got you. I got you, boy. I got you.
This was just, I mean, like when you put the last 2 weeks together, this was the most Met thing I've ever experienced. Awful.
I mean, I'll be quite honest with you. The fact that we take it to, I haven't even mentioned the attendance numbers. The fact that you take it to a game 3, win or go home, winner take all. You take it to a game 3, you get 1 hit, and you don't even sell out your stadium. This was the lowest attendance of the 3 games of the series. You're telling me you had more fans in the seats for a game 2 in which you couldn't even take the series, for a game 3 in which it was a winner go home? Is it because we have school the next day or something? What's the excuse? And I tell you what, man, I would make the argument that this was a better ending for me. This was a sweeter ending for me. Joe, getting a chance to see Joe Musgrove come out there and throw a 1-hitter, and getting the chance to see Edwin Diaz.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Are you serious, dude? That was the most depressed Timmy Trumpet's entrance I have ever seen.
That was so awkward. The only cheers that you heard were Padres fans chanting along with Timmy Trumpets. That was awful. And it was even more poetic that he was the one that really kind of gave up the nail in the coffin. Right? Because he gave up the 2. They were down 4-0, then he gave up 2. And like 6-0 when you have 1 hit on the board is like, this is Mount Everest. It's more fitting. This was, it couldn't have been one specific moment. It took 2 weeks of moments for this team to just remind everybody what they are. This is just the Mets. This is the most Mets thing I've ever experienced. Awful. Saying they had the Division 1 in like June.
Oh, the amount it takes of, well, enjoy first place Braves or whatever, like whatever the situation was, like enjoy it, like we're still the team to beat in this division. No. You went from the New York Mets went from having a 10.5 game lead in the division to playing in a wild card series to taking it to the 3rd and final game to getting 1 hit.
Yeah.
In a stadium that was not even sold out. I'll say it again. The New York Mets are the most fraudulent organization in baseball. And yes, to put a cap on this, the New York Mets metted. Thank you. And look, I'm not here to pat myself on the back. I did go 4 for 4 in my series predictions. This one felt this one was the sweetest.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I get it.
Why wouldn't a surefire pick be the sweetest, you know? I mean, it's like
I kind of feel the same way about what I said about the Phillies with the Padres. Like, it was like you have Manny Machado kind of leading the way. That's like, I'll be the villain. I'll come in here with my pearly white teeth and smile as often as I can because I'm going to ruin your season. It was nice. It was good to watch. I know I said this would be the most expensive first round exit. Maybe I was talking about the Mets. Wasn't even talking about you guys. Who knows?
Well, I'm pretty sure you said the Padres, but we'll leave it up for interpretation.
No, I was just
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this on that take, because I was curious. What's more satisfying for you? Are you willing to take the L on that take for the sake of what we're able to witness this weekend with the New York Mets just imploding?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a Yankees fan before anything else, and anytime the Mets met, it makes me happy. So I just thought it was a little different this year. I thought they had things put together a little bit different, and it's just like the ultimate choke job. And what really bugged me was that, like, how much of the Mets narrative was about how unhealthy guys were. Everything was like, oh, Scherzer's dealing with something. Marte is dealing with something. DeGrom is dealing with something. Dude, so is every other freaking roster that's competing in this thing. Everybody's dealing with stuff. It's the end of the year. Everybody's dealing with little injuries, little annoyances. Everybody's dealing with that. But for some reason, we have to just drive this narrative home for the Mets just to give them somewhat of an ounce of an excuse. And no, not happening. You're not getting it. New York Mets are garbage. Garbage. And I think they're probably going to clean house with a lot of names. I think a lot of names are moving on.
They were talking about on the broadcast tonight. That New York Mets team is going to look very different next year. Very different. I said I was done. Last thing I will say, I think you can apologize now for me saying that not even Buck Showalter could fix this team.
100% right.
Say what you will about how he managed. I'm sure from an insider's point of view, he probably did a great job.
And I'm not a diehard. Well.
Yeah. There's only so much you can do when you're getting one hit.
Right.
He from a managerial point of view, if you were to ask guys around the league, I'm sure he did a fine job. My point, though, is that not even a big name manager can come in and change that team. You are just gonna have to completely wipe out any sort of remaining artifact of whatever's left of this team and just create a new culture or something, because this isn't it. This is not it.
I don't know. Things have to change for sure. I mean, it's just embarrassing. That was the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever seen in just the 2-week span of just like scrambling to try and save the narrative, like just scrambling. Corniest team in baseball, most overrated team in baseball. See ya next spring. Trash. Just trash.
Been saying it since March. All right, so look, here's the reality. This might be a first. I can't recall a time we've had this. We got a voicemail like halfway through the episode.
Cool.
And it's from our guy. So
all right.
I don't even know. Usually I can read the transcript of the messages before we play them. I haven't had a chance to read what this one's about. So we're gonna let this eat. So let's see what we got here.
Hey fellas, it's Taurus from Danbury, Connecticut, and to start off with things, hey Kyle, I just want to wish you good luck on the AL East Open as they'll be joining Tampa Bay on the golf course. Pow. Sorry, the Yankee fan in me just had to say that real quick. On a serious note, I'm looking at this Mets team that's now officially fallen to the Padres, and as much as I hate to see it for a guy who's watched the Yankees since the early 2000s is the earliest I could remember, this really gets to make the Yankees and the Mets. Look at it right here. What's happened in the last couple of years, every single time the Yankees have been like, hey, we need to get into the box and score a couple of runs, and everyone complains about the pitcher giving up 3 runs in 6 innings, but you look at the scoreboard, you look at the box score, we didn't hit. Look at the Mets. You can blame the pitcher all you want. They didn't hit lick the first game or the third game. And everything is just looking at me just scared. Am I glad that we're not playing Tampa? Oh, God, yeah, of course. I didn't want that. Point blank, period. But you just look at the Yankees and you just hope that they're not going to hit a dry spell. And if you look at both teams, well, the Met fans are scared that they just saw the last of Jacob deGrom in a Met uniform. And here's me being a Yankee fan thinking to myself, so help me God, I hope to God that this isn't the last time I see number 99 in the Yankee uniform. He should be there for the rest of his life. Well, I'd like to hear all of your thoughts on what's going on, and for Dominic Russo, who might be listening to the show, who helped me be a Yankee fan for all these years, congrats to your baby boy. Love you, cuz, and take it easy, fellas, as always. Take it easy.
We gotta make him like a regular host or something. We need it.
He's way too cool to be chilling up in Connecticut all alone. We got to get him on.
We got to get him on. Look, he mentioned Yankees. No better time to transition into our predictions here, because he mentioned he hopes the Yankees don't. Before we even get to that, credit to you. He's on board with you with not wanting to play the Rays.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He said this may be the end of DeGrom for the Mets, which I can get on board with. He said he doesn't want this to be the end of Judge in Yankees uniform, which I can also get on board with. We need Judge to stay in New York, keep this rivalry something special. Like, we don't need him floating around the league. We need some cornerstones. I've been saying that since day one.
Yeah.
Keep Judge in New York. I'm okay with it. With that said, though, he said he doesn't want to see the Yankees hit a dry spell, so no better time than the present to transition into our predictions for the division series and matchups. Where do you want to start here? Let's go. Why not? Let's go Guardians Yankees.
Let's just say his fears are not alone. I think every Yankees fan feels the same way. This is like a hold your tongue kind of team. Like, you can't really come out and just be overly confident. Like, it's just like, you just hope. So I hope they get it done. I'm going to take them. I think it goes 4. I'm going to say Yankees in 4.
I'm going to go, I'll be honest with you. Jokes aside, I know I've been giving you a hard time the last few weeks about the Yankees winning the division not really mattering because it would end in the division series for them anyway. I'll be honest with you. After a weekend, after a dose of seeing the Guardians' mojo enhance and grow upon itself a little bit and manifest a little more, I feel, again, jokes aside, I feel a little bit more strongly now and a little more comfortable with my pick of taking, truthfully, whoever was going to match up against the Yankees. But I'm glad it's the Guardians right now, and I'm going to comfortably say and confidently say, I agree with you. 4 games. I'm going Guardians in 4.
Wow.
We've gotten the picks from Ryan. He is. You said? Did you mention he's at a wedding? He's at a wedding this weekend. So he's MIA.
Sure.
He's MIA. He's got the Yanks. He didn't give the games, but it's fine. We don't put the game.
Yeah.
The in how many games on the graphic anyway.
Yeah.
So he's got Yanks. All right. Mariners Astros.
Let's go M's. Let's go M's. Let's go M's.
Wow.
I believe. Let's go M's.
Oh, man. This one, I'll be honest with you, this is probably the hardest for me. Oh, this is tough, dude. This is tough.
Astros are so good.
I know, dude.
They're so good. Like they're talking about having too many starting pitchers. Like not knowing what to do with all their starting pitchers. That's how ridiculously stacked they are.
I hate to do this to America's team. I know I've been behind America's team so long, dude. I just don't know. I don't know. But it is I don't know. It's a best of 5. I don't know if that necessarily changes anything for this particular matchup, but anytime you have a difference in series length,
yeah,
it by default changes a little bit. I hate to say it, dude. I've been preaching this whole time about going with your heart. My heart is really leaning Houston. It's just really hard for me.
I know.
I can't do it. And look, credit to Seattle. It's been a heck of a run, and you did what we asked you to do. You got postseason baseball back to Seattle.
Yep, we're getting that.
You didn't just bring the postseason back. You're bringing it to Seattle now.
They got to get one. They got to get one in Houston. I need both games. I need both games in Seattle. I need both of them to happen. So they got to get one.
I don't know, man. I'd say if I'm being honest with you, I'm seeing stages for this Seattle Mariners team. Last year, you gave it your best. You got so close.
Yeah.
You said, "All right, next year, sit tight."
Right.
It's next year.
You
made it.
Is this like a little like early 2000s Red Sox kind of vibe, you know, where like you're
knocking on the door.
Yeah, like you fall short and then it's just like it adds to the anger, it adds to the build up.
Yeah, man.
And then finally you break through.
You're knocking on the door. It pains me. Like I might lose sleep over this tonight, but
I'm not, this is my least confident pick.
I respect you for it. And honestly, I thought I'd be the Lone Ranger going with the freaking Mariners here, but I got to go Astros.
Total heart. This is all heart pick. I'm done picking with my head. It's all heart from here on out.
Look, I have a perfect record to uphold here, and I don't think
that's true.
I feel like
you got to be smart about it. I
running
went
a
2
risk
for 4,
here.
so yeah.
Oh, yeah. Look, I've already crossed the line. I gotta go Astros. I'm gonna say. Would you say Houston in? Or no, you said Seattle in.
It's going all 5.
All 5. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Actually, no, it's going 4. Mariners are gonna take.
Okay.
Mariners are taking 1 in Houston and then both at home.
I'm going to say Houston in 4. I'm going to say Houston snags 1 in Seattle.
So that means Seattle's getting 1 in Houston if you're going that way.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it.
Or maybe they go 2-0 at home and then they, Houston loses the first game in Seattle and then wins the second. Is that what you're saying?
No, it'd be to Houston, so they'd go.
It goes 2-2-1, right?
Yeah. So Seattle's going to win one at home. That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Sorry, you had me.
Okay.
You had me all over the place there. Yeah. So Houston will snag, or Seattle will snag one at home. It'll be the first one. Place is going to be jumping.
Yeah.
But
Saturday.
Houston will inevitably close
I think it lines up to be a Saturday. Yeah.
I
think it's Saturday, Sunday.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Padres, Dodgers.
This one makes me think a little bit more now.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
You know?
People weren't, I don't think, myself included, I don't know how you feel. I don't think people were giving the Padres enough respect.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I mean, I was ragging on the Padres in September.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you're playing, granted, you're playing the most fraudulent organization in baseball, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But they were playing small ball. They were one of the teams that were playing small ball this weekend, and they did it effectively. And Trent Grisham, hello.
Yeah.
I don't even think we got to mention him.
I know.
Dude was on one.
I think we got to give him some credit for the muff that he had a few years ago when he was with Milwaukee.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah, and it's like that's big. That's a hard moment to sit with for a few years. And it's even harder for the season he had this year.
Yeah.
Dude had a hell of a series. Good for Trent Grisham.
Yeah.
In
the field as well. Like, not even just at the plate.
Exactly.
That guy was like
running balls down, dude. That ball he ran down in the right center gap tonight was crazy.
Soto showed up, which I'm not sure why there's like this postseason slander. I heard a little bit of, not a lot.
He's been rough since he's been in San Diego.
No, but I'm saying postseason slander. I'm like, are we forgetting this kid as like a 20-year-old's bat dropping down the first base line in Houston?
Yeah, get out of here. This dude loves the spotlight. Get out of here. He showed up. He's ready for the spotlight at any time.
He showed up.
The brighter, the better. The Dodgers just don't, like, they've never really done it for me all year. Like, I look at that team and I'm just like, how did you end up with
a franchise record? Number of wins.
Yeah, I don't understand that. That doesn't add up for me. I think I see some question marks with the pitching staff. I think Dave Roberts does have a little bit of a monkey on his back when it comes to postseason decisions.
Don't do it.
Give me Padres. Give me Padres. Give me Padres for the heart. Yeah,
I could see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Oh, I could see the wheels turning. Give me the
Padres for the heart. And I don't know why. I never thought I'd say this, considering we've been doing this for how long? 4 years? Manny Machado's growing on me.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. They mentioned on the broadcast last night. I don't know if you had the volume on. They were saying, I don't remember who it was that was interviewing him, but they said, Manny, you just look more comfortable. Mm-hmm. And apparently his response was, it's not about the money anymore. He said, it's not about the fame. He said, I'm just having fun playing baseball again. And I'm like, that's what we've been saying. Literally, we've been saying that for the last year and a half. He just looks different. Like, he's not the same hateable guy.
Right.
And like, go check the receipts. That's not hindsight.
Right.
We've literally been saying that. And we're seeing it play out. And we're seeing the way he's almost blossomed into a clubhouse leader,
right?
Which I never thought I'd say.
Right.
But like, dude, he's growing on me. Like,
Eduardo Perez made a little comment about like how it's kind of how when he put his foot down against Tatis. Was that last year or the year before? And he was just like, I think it was like that moment where he started to kind of turn on the leadership role. But I just feel like the Padres as an organization, it's just like, it's like a anti-Tatis thing. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're okay without Tatis. They're okay if Tatis never puts on a Padre uniform again. That's what it feels like to me.
The only way you're going to succeed this postseason is if you don't even think, you play as if you're never going to see or hear that name again.
Right. Yeah. And like even Will Myers was playing out of his mind at first base. Like our secondary position,
Yeah,
he's flashing
like,
leather. I'm
what?
just like, these dudes are on it. Yeah, give me Padres. I don't see what the Dodgers haven't, like Trace Thompson. Like that's really what we're gonna, you know what I mean?
You're a good the Dodgers. You're a good team.
You're a good team.
You're a great team. You set the franchise record for wins, and that's for the Dodgers to be able to do that. That's impressive.
Sure.
That's a pretty historic franchise. But I agree with you, man. I just don't know. Like I can't pinpoint it. And I know Freeman's been playing great. I know Mookie's been playing great. But it's almost like, okay, you did what we all expected you to do.
Yeah.
Now show us why you're going to be. Show us why or how you're going to be able to take it.
Yeah.
Up a notch.
Yeah, and also,
Because,
I mean, you got to think about like what they haven't been challenged all year. There's been zero adversity that they've had to deal with.
Yeah.
Outside of like some injuries and things like that, it's like no one's been hounding you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's the pressure of the New York teams. There's the was it a fluke for the Braves? There's a overrated Phillies narrative. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many. No one's even talked about the Dodgers. You haven't dealt with anything. They've been chilling. They're on their heels. Give me the Padres. Momentum.
I think we've convinced
through the wall.
I think we've convinced a number of people just in the last 5 minutes to maybe jump ship and go Padres.
Justin Turner looks old.
With their pick.
It's clear that Trey Turner is going to be moving on, right? Isn't he in a walk year? Isn't he done after this year? He's moving on.
Yeah. He's a free agent.
Yeah. I mean, Cody Bellinger looks like I don't even know what happened.
We won't even need to talk about the Dodgers. We need to just talk. I think we need to go back to just talking about how good the Padres, like the reasons that we believe in the Padres. This might be a little bit of recency bias here, but if there's a guy that I'm taking from this postseason and kind of latching onto for the future, just to like follow or become a fan of, to be like become one of my guys, like a Harper-esque guy, maybe not to that level, but one of those kind of guys. Joe Musgrove, dude.
Yeah.
To see the way he
responded to the check.
He turned it on, dude. He flipped a switch after the check. And I'm all about that, dude. I'm here for the pettiness. I'm here for the nose wipes. I'm here for the gestures.
Didn't
and the
a guy
to
got
the
on
dugout.
second after that? Right? I think there was a runner in scoring position. There was a runner in scoring position.
Was there?
And that inning ended that way. Because I saw the little ticker up top underneath the scoreboard that it said.
I think you're right. Yeah.
That the Mets were like 0 for 19 with 2 outs and runner in scoring position this series. Make it 0 for 20. I love it. It seems like there's like the San Diego like cool, laid back, but I'm better than you mentality.
Right, and they're actually better. Not just like what we've seen the last couple of years where it's like they have that kind of like laid back, sunny mentality. No, they're actually good right now. They're actually good right now.
That ballpark.
They surprised me. I'll say that.
The ballpark's going to be rocking. And they're not intimidated, but it doesn't seem like they're intimidated by the Dodgers anymore. It doesn't feel that way anymore.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I'm going to go, so not to play spoiler
now.
no, not to play spoiler here, but Ryan didn't give me a single upset.
No, of course not.
And then he literally just texted us. He said, in an alternate universe, I'd want Guardians, Mariners, Braves, Padres. Okay, Ryan. Well, it's one universe or the other. And it sounds like we're going with the safe universe. So he's going he's not picking a single underdog.
Yeah.
I'm going, look, the Dodgers are good. I'll give them their due. I'm going to say Padres in 5.
Yeah, I'll go 5 too. I'm going to say 5.
I'll go 5. Phillies, Braves.
This is Braves. This is Braves through and through. The Braves they don't care. There's no intimidation from the Phillies. I don't see it, dude. The Braves,
dude.
The Braves are stupid good. I don't care what happens on the other side. If the Mets had made it through, now that the Padres are making it through, it doesn't even matter on that end of it. Braves are going to the World Series. I don't even care if the Padres end up taking this against the Dodgers. I'm still going Braves. The Braves are going to the World Series. This team is stacked top to bottom, and they're way better than they were last year. And they just played out of their mind for the last 2 months. They're hungry and they're angry. And they're confident. It's cute what the Phillies have been able to do. But like you said, the Cardinals won that division. Or won that. The Cardinals lost that series. More so than the Phillies won that series. Yeah?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. I think that's true. But like I said, you still have to close the book, which they did on the road. Sure. With the storylines that St. Louis brought into that series. Like that, there's something to be said for that. I'm not saying they're a force to be reckoned with, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let it play out. This is my sneaky series, and
I'm actually going Braves sweep. That's what I'm doing.
That's fair.
I'm going Braves in 3.
I'm gonna say, look, man, I've been going to my heart this whole time. I'm 4-0. I'm 4-0. Hey, look, between the three of us, if we're keeping tallies here, I got a little bit of wiggle room.
You do have wiggle room. I'm 2 for 4. You're 4 for 4. Ryan is 1 for 4.
1 for 4. And that one pick was influenced by us.
True.
I'm going to go. Because I'm going with my heart, and because I just want. Look, I've been supporting the Braves. This is well documented. We don't need to rehash all of this. We all know how I feel about Braves fans at times. It's like sometimes you all just need to do your thing, but just stay in your lane. You don't need to. Winners worry about winning. They don't need to worry about any of the outside noise. But sometimes you'll venture out into lanes that are not your own. And I'm getting a little bit of that right now. So I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna need the Phillies to come in, and I'm gonna need the Braves and their fans. No, not so much the team. I got really nothing against the team. This is between me and Braves fans here. Right. I'm talking to Braves fans. I'm gonna need them to take a little dose of medicine here.
All right.
And just take a little bit of a chill pill, and that chill pill is going to be in the form of a Phillies series win in 4.
Nice. Okay. I could see.
Let me ask you this: How do we feel about, for all of these series, for these teams that have gotten the bye, this little layoff? Because we just saw the video today. Mookie Betts is bowling. He's out. He's out bowling perfect games.
Yeah, but Bellinger was in Disneyland.
Like, there's something to be said for. I don't care who you are, Braves, Yankees, Dodgers, Astros. There's something to be said for this new format, different layoff here. Like, you're not getting just a 1 day off. You're not getting a 2 day off. It's a pretty sizable layoff here. There's something to be said for that. I don't know how it's going to affect each 4 of these teams individually, but how do you feel about that? Would you agree? Would you say maybe not as big of a deal as some might make it out to be?
Well, I think this bought time for Spencer Strider. It allows Acuna to get some rest on his knee, which has been bugging him all year. I don't think it affects this team. I really don't. I don't think it affects this team. Acuna wasn't a part of the ring. He didn't have a hand in it. Dansby is in a walk year. Matt Olson has something to prove. Right? You're the guy that steps in. You're the guy that we're spending money on. You're the guy that's going to replace number 5. We need you to show up. And Michael Harris just doesn't care about anybody else. Just doesn't care. He's here to prove something. It's Braves all the way, dude. It's Braves all the way. I don't even care. It doesn't matter what the Phillies do.
This is clearly your most confident pick.
Yeah. I think they look at I just don't think they respect the Phillies at all. And that could be a little bit of a comeback to bite them kind of thing. But
and seasons past.
I think it comes back to bite them for 3 innings in the first game. Then be like, oh. Oh,
hey, what was that? Was that a mosquito? What was that?
What is this? That? Oh, we're awake now. Let's go win some baseball games. That's what it's
just
gonna
the Phillies.
Be. Yeah. Yeah, get off.
No, to that point, I would agree with you. In seasons past, couldn't care less about the Phillies, and for good reason. Whatever. From just what I've seen the last few weeks, I'll give you couple to a few weeks that I've seen for the Phillies, I just feel like this is a slightly different Phillies team. And I'm going out on a limb and saying it's different enough that it will help them get past the Braves this series. In a shorter series. If this was 7,
yeah.
If this was 7,
you go Braves.
Good chance I'm going Braves.
So you said Phillies in 4?
Phillies in 4.
Okay. Something wild where they just shock the world and go take the first 2 in Atlanta.
What have we said? Anything can happen in October.
It's true. It's just the best time of year.
The absolute best.
Yeah.
Well, that about does it. Ryan, we got all Ryan's picks. He's going all.
He went Braves as well, obviously.
He went Astros, Dodgers, Braves, Yankees.
I mean, it's the popular choice. It's a popular choice. The only thing I can say is, well, let me ask you this. Who's the last team you want to win?
What do you mean?
Who's the last team that you want to take it all? Outside of the Yankees.
Just because I don't like them or for whatever reason?
Just whatever reason you want to justify it with.
I mean, Yankees, obviously. Braves, just because another offseason.
Yeah, that's true.
Of that, dude.
Yeah.
No, thank you. But even beyond that. Actually, no. We just got done talking about the Padres. In my head, I was thinking maybe Padres, because I want them to feel like whenever they do whatever it is that they do, whether that be win a World Series, make it to the World Series, I want them to feel like they trusted the process.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it almost feels like a lot of people might say maybe they skirted by a pretty good Mets team. I don't say that. But you could say if they somehow win the World Series this year, that there were some forces at work there, and maybe they showed up to the scene a little too early. I need to see the Padres lose in a crushing Game 7 NLCS before I see them win a World Series.
Why?
I just need to pay your dues. You got to pay your dues.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
You just got to pay your dues.
You can't just skip to the front of the line by adding a Juan Soto and a Josh Bell.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And if you give me like I said, give me a crushing.
Yeah. I don't think there's a single player in their lineup that they drafted, by the way. I don't think there's a single guy that they drafted.
Right. So I'm gonna need the type of ending to your season where it's like the primary source of the motivational offseason montage that they show on opening day.
Right.
And then go do your thing. Do your thing. But Padres fans be getting a little too comfortable if they won it all this year. So I'd say Yankees, Braves, Padres.
You're okay with the Astros taking it?
Yeah, that's a heck of a freaking club. Like, say what you will. Like I think it's pretty well documented. We're both, for the most part, over all of it. Like the trash can thing is just just been beaten to a pulp at this point.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm okay. Honestly, I'm okay. If it happens, I'm okay with it. I really am. That's a good freaking ball club.
It is.
Like they are very good. And we're getting to the point where if we start praying for their downfall, you're starting to pray on these guys' downfall who, as we've talked about, just weren't part of this.
Yeah.
Like I want to see Jordan go off in a World Series. Like we need that. And that freaking rotation, please, dude. That's a heck of a freaking ball.
I know, they're scary. They're definitely scary.
So again, I'm okay with it.
All right, fair enough. There it is.
There's our picks. We'll see. Knowing my luck, I'm gonna go like 0-4 now, and we'll just.
I think we should keep track. I think we should keep the tallies going.
Oh, we've got the tallies going.
Ryan needs
a heck of an outing this division series. We should. Do you want to like assign a point value to each level?
That's a lot of work.
No, but I'm saying like wild card, you get a point for each series you get right. Division, you get 2. I would almost argue, wouldn't it be the other way around because of like the odds? Because like you get to the World Series, it's a 50-50 shot.
Right.
So I feel like that I would almost argue that those points would be worth less. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well,
You're just arguing technically they're 4-0.
They're all. I guess it's all 50-50. I don't know what I'm saying.
Those might be the most valuable picks. The one that I already cleaned house with.
No,
those are worth 5. Those are worth 5.
Did you hear me? I just walked back because every game is 50-50. So I don't know what I'm saying. It's late. We need to get out of here.
Yeah,
we're deep into this thing.
Deep. When are we revisiting the next episode? What's going on? What day is it? Sunday. You guys are hearing this on Monday. Games start up Tuesday. Everybody plays Tuesday, and then you have AL only on Wednesday, I believe. Or is that NL?
Everybody
only?
plays Tuesday, NL only Wednesday,
AL only Thursday.
So maybe we do like a Thursday night because everybody will have played too.
I like that.
Does that work?
That works, yeah.
And then maybe we might have to get a little wonky, but maybe we just revisit at the end of the series because
you
may have too many.
A lot of notes to keep. Yeah, a lot of notes to keep.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see you guys Thursday night, Friday morning.
Yeah. And get on Chalkboard. Come hang out with us. Come chat with us. There's literally like everybody's chatting about every game. We got channels for each game, so you know what to talk about. We got a hot takes channel in there, so you can throw in some hot takes. Although it's been somewhat lukewarm in that section.
Yeah, like if you're gonna join the hot takes thread, like get a little spicy with it.
Yeah, don't give me like a. It's not that hard to hit against the shift kind of take. Come on. Get it going. Light it up. It needs something hotter than that.
Targeted. That seems pretty targeted towards.
It's awfully specific. Individual. Awfully specific.
So yeah, hit the link in our bio. You have to. Well, you don't have to, but it would help us out if you downloaded the Chalkboard app through the link in our bio. So go to the link in our bio, download Chalkboard. It should take you right to our board, right to our threads, and you can just join the conversation, and we'll be in there all week.
Correct.
For the rest of the postseason.
There you go.
For the rest of time.
Forever and ever.
Forever and ever. We'll be there. That's all I got. We'll see you guys later this week.
Don't go chasing curveballs, folks.
We love you all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.